what, in your opinion, makes Cyrus different from those other comedies?
In terms of the way that we shoot, I think one of the biggest differences is we do employ improvisation, but not in the way that Adam McKay with Will Ferrell or Apatow would with Jonah, for instance, where they usually do the scene and then they do some improv to get a funny joke, because who can create a joke in the moment better than Jonah or Will Ferrell or one of those guys, or John. That being said, for us, we're employing improv for a whole different reason, and that's mainly to achieve a state of naturalism on set and with the actors that we can't get otherwise. For us, this story is really about relationships and about characters first, and yes, it's definitely funny and people are laughing throughout, but really the relationships come first. And so we're really just trying to get at a documentary sense of naturalism. And so we set our actors free in the room and we capture it as a documentary team would.
Could you maybe quickly explain mumblecore? Or what is that?
Mumblecore is a film movement that someone in the New York Times sort of like coined, and it generally categorized films, about 5 years ago to now that, we're focused on people and things that happen in their real lives. They're shot in a naturalistic way and they're not very plot heavy. We are considered to be one of the founding members of mumblecore, but
right.
It was wonderful to be written up in the New York Times, but for us, we don't ascribe ourselves to a movement. I think honestly, the true mumblecore filmmakers are the young guys who see what we're doing and they're trying to do something very similar. For us, we're just trying to make the best movie possible, and we actually do a lot of things that are atypical to mumblecore, like we are very obsessive about plot, and our characters actually don't mumble at all. They're very specific about what they want, and they're very dogged about getting what they want. So, although we appreciate being part of something like that, we want this movie to reach the greatest audience possible, and terms like that can often be limiting to audience members.
Actually, I want to talk about Jonah Hill. Was like the casting requirements like a death stare, seeing how awkward he could make a death stare? Because his eyes, like,
yeah.
It made scenes go from like awkward to shit, this is awkward.
Yeah, that's why we picked Jonah. He had been a big fan of The Puffy Chair, our first independent feature. He talked about it in the New York Times, and it sort of like tripled our DVD rentals. So we started hanging out with him, and immediately we realized there's a lot more to him than that affable, charismatic, funny guy that he absolutely is. But there's this whole other side that's, he's got a dark side to him, and he's a really sensitive kid. And not only that, but he's really conscientious about what he's doing and why he's doing it. I mean, most movie stars in their mid-20s don't go home from set and work on their scripts and work on their producing projects. They go and party and reap all the benefits of what it means to be a movie star, And Jonah really is that guy, and beyond all that, he had this desire and this willingness to explore a different side of himself and a different character, and to show people that he really has a lot of depth, and we couldn't be more proud of him.
Was there a point like anywhere during shooting where it was like, okay, this is too awkward here, we're gonna have to bring it back?
I wouldn't say that it went crazy at any point in time, but we definitely pushed the boundaries with our improv, and we try not to modify it or control it too much on set. Once we get into editorial, we get really specific about towing a very fine line between, what is too far, what's too dramatic, what's too funny. We're trying to, keep things in the middle there and keep people guessing, honestly. That's what we want to do, because, it's very rare that you go to a movie theater these days and don't know what's going to happen. And that's what we're trying to provide people, because that's honestly what we want to see.
Yeah, it was definitely awkward. There was many scenes in there that was, yeah.
Sounds like Steve Miller. You know that one Steve Miller song?
No, it doesn't.